Good evening. I call Public Works Committee meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Cindy?
Here.
Seth?
Here.
Todd?
Here.
AJ?
Here.
And Tanya? I don't believe she was.
Here.
Oh, you are there. Okay. Hi, Tanya.
I'm here. Hi, Lori. Hi.
Hi. First period for public comment. No one is here. Is anyone online who'd like to speak? Name, address, 3 minutes.
We have a few folks online, but it does not look like anybody is eager to jump in and make a public comment at this time.
Okay. Approval of committee minutes from December 16th, 2025.
This is AJ. I move approval of the minutes from December 16th, 2025.
Todd, I'll second it.
Motion by AJ, second by Todd to approve the minutes. Any corrections, additions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Tanya?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll table number 4 till next Tuesday. Review and approval of pay request number 2, Hanson Farm project.
If y'all are talking, I can't hear anything.
Stab in my microphone. Okay. I think we got it now though. Okay, so they've been working away on the Hanson farm. This pay request came in before the holidays, and they have since done some work, but there's a lot here already. There's like $1 million worth of work that they did up to this point. So they spent a lot of time working on the underground work, so the water and the sewer mains. They have some water services to still do, but for the most part, most everything is in, except for like where that multifamily area is, just waiting for confirmation on which way to go on there. And then they put in a ton of storm sewer pipe, because what their intention is, once everything starts melting, that they have all the stormwater infrastructure in place so that they don't have to deal with, 1, water on site being a problem, but 2, just trying to build this thing while water is going to be taken on, because obviously it's going to be the low area. So in any case, and they've kind of gone back and forth with the weather. So we've had some, really cold days, and then some snow, and then warm days. And so they've been working through. They didn't know if they were going to work today, but they did end up working today. So anyway, going through our pay request. So they have the remainder of the mobilization and performance bonds, some base material that they have, not a lot here, just a little bit for where they're working. Let's see. The connections into the streets, they've cut, then put the asphalt in, as you can see there, those 2 items. So this would be like that patch that we have across the road. And obviously we need erosion control while we're working. That's previous request. There we go. That's this column that I want. I was like, hold on, why did they put that in first? But they did put it in first. Okay. More sanitary sewer. And like I mentioned, the sewer laterals, putting them in. And so I would expect the next pay request should be more or less all of the rest of all the underground. There's one thing that's a little bit odd. So we usually look at like how much of the work have we completed. So 100% would mean all the bid items are complete. Sometimes the bid items aren't, like, quantities aren't always correct. A lot of times you'll see that, particularly with the granule fill, but usually the valves and things like that are pretty right on. And the reason this one here, the 6-inch valve, is different is that there was an additional valve put in planning for future use. And 6-inch valves are what we use on hydrant leads. Let's see. So we got a lot of storm sewer in this one here as well. There's a little bit left to be done, and they're probably not going to end up doing what is remaining until next year, or next construction season, which is all blended into one, but like in the spring. That's probably a better way to explain it. And then, as before mentioned, we have that change order, which is the stored materials amount. So then the total continually gets decreased as we put and install the pipe. So eventually this number will be 0, and we removed 51,000 in this pay request. So going back up to the top, we are looking at $680,988.94 for the work done on this pay request.
Okay, any questions? Should we pay?
Says AJ, I make a motion that we approve the pay request number 2 for the Hanson Farm project in the total of, let me zoom in on that.
Oh, excuse me.
Total of $680,988.94.
Todd will second it.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Seth,
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
AJ,
Aye.
Tanya,
Aye.
Cindy.
Aye,
Good.
motion carries. Thank you for looking at that so diligently and
course.
carefully. Construction project updates.
Well, right now, really the main construction project is the one we just talked about. So if you have any questions, I certainly can fill you in. What also went on mostly prior to the holidays was Gerke also worked what we called Contract B of the Hanson property, but that was actually on Railroad Avenue, the stormwater pond. If you drive by there, you'll see a lot of changes happen there. Most of the pond is done in terms of like the shaping, but they do still have some pipe, like the overflow piping and things that they need to do. And so we haven't got they haven't told us exactly when they're coming to finish that. I assume will want to be finishing it at the same sort of time frame to get in before we start having melt and things like that. Gerke has crews that go down to Texas, and so they're working and rotating people. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I guess the other, like we did the on the landfill, we were installing those additional wells. So there's now 23 wells in for the monitoring wells, and there's 3 more that they never ended up getting done. Oh, because it was the poor guy. I felt bad for him. He's like a 1-person crew, and it was like the freezing cold day, and he was trying, it was getting dark, and so they just agreed to come back another time. So they're supposed to be here Thursday, depending on the weather, but this week to finish those off.
Okay, any questions? Street and Utility Department update.
Want to go first?
Well, same old story, end of year, beginning of year. So this week I'm working on wrapping up some end of the month and end of the year reporting. And then next week I'll be hitting the ground running, opening up the new year, starting the audit process. There's numerous things that the utilities have to prepare for both the audit and the PSC annual report, which I do about half of the annual report now. And a lot more of the audit reports, instead of them having to do it, I've been able to bring that in-house. So it actually has been very helpful for me too. That way I know everything's correct and I don't have to fix things down the road. And so it's been helpful. We've made some process improvements in the process of that over the last couple of years. And I'll be working on doing the residential equivalency unit spreadsheet, which is assigning a base cost to all of our non-residential customers. We do that every year. It fluctuates according to their water usage the year prior. So that's that.
Okay.
Just a second, the non-residential, define that for,
So non-residential would include our commercial customers, industrial, public authority. Public authority would be all the governmental buildings and our
trailer parks?
industrial. Did I say that?
So
Are trailer parks, by the way?
4 of them. Vernon, so the trailer parks depend, they're mostly all residential.
Okay.
And then Vernon Estates is its own entity. So they are treated as a commercial or they're treated as a multi-residential. So that was the other customer type, multi-residential. They do fluctuate as well in their sewer-based costs based on their usage. If any customer has a large leak, we usually take that out of our calculation because it's a one-time thing and
Anyone have any questions? I thought it was
Question.
interesting how they figured out the non-residential stuff.
it's very
The
interesting.
whole
I
year.
have a big whole spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Sarah.
Okay, from the water crew, Greg Scott here, meter and transmitter changing. Still working on the shop, so they did move over to the old fire station building. There's still some transitioning going on with fire station stuff, but they're starting to make themselves at home. So it's weird, not everybody being together. I still don't love the fact that they're not together, but I think it just frees up space for everybody, like on both sides. So it's one of those things, you make some sacrifices to get some gains. What else? Let's see. He's working on his year-end reports. They're starting grease trap inspections and lift station cleaning soon. We had a big water main break. I don't know if anybody saw that in the Park Bowl. So like right down from Parkview Manor, right where the ball diamond was. It was a big deal. One, it was a big deal because there was a lot of water loss. Greg said he ended up getting a phone call Saturday night, but it was on the voice machine. And then no one picked up on it until Monday morning when it got picked out. So that means we lost water through on Sunday. And so then the towers were not keeping up, which was another indication, but
267,000
a lot of water.
gallons, or something like that.
And it was also really tricky because it was really deep. And it's like there's a lot of old weird connections in there because there used to be a water tower, right like where the old fire station is. So that would be, what is it now? The automotive shop. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah, right.
Why can't I think of it?
Kelly's,
thank you.
Thank you.
So that used to be the water tower. So there's like all these like weird things happening there, and they were turning valves thinking they were doing things and they weren't doing what they thought they were. And it was 12 feet deep, which is deep. I don't know if you've ever seen a water main break. Todd has, but like there's water flowing because we don't want to depressurize the system. And the trench, we're trying to figure out where it is leaking. And that one, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, this is not going to be fun because water, is moving downhill, and it was clearly popping out of the ground where the break was not. Like it's on the low area. And so now you're chasing to figure out where the actual water main break is. And your only indication, at least old school wise, would be like where the water came out. So kudos to us purchasing our leak detection equipment because that helped them narrow down where it was. They still had to do a little extra digging because they could hear it at one location. It's kind of like funneling through, and then they heard more water up by the hydrant, but they thought that the hydrant was the reason they could hear that water. And it was actually where the leak was, but it ended up being a much smaller space. And the one good thing, even though it's messy, we're going to have to help Kale clean up in the spring, is that often we're doing that in a road. So like, as we're trying to figure out where it is, that's just a bigger patch and a lot more expensive. Here, at least, it was all like earth ground. The guys did a great job. I will say watching that, they always have to be really careful. Greg does a good job making sure the trench is stable because that's always a thing. It's not just, we train on competent person for trenches, but you're got the added element of all the ground being saturated. So everything's scoopy and falling in, and then the surface is frozen. So that's acting weird. And then they have to get in that hole. They like have a ladder. It's like this narrow and I don't even know, 10 feet tall, 8 feet tall. Then they go up and down the trench and they hadn't benched it. So they kind of like dug a hole and then like had like a platform area and they grabbed the ladder and they put it in because it's full of water, right? They're working in water and they're trying to pump it out. And I thought, oh, the ladder's going to go down like this far. And it just went like, oh boy, that was deep. And it's just also really laborious. Like Jared and Michael were both going in and out of the hole and like, it's just a lot of work. They're sinking in the mud and they're like trying to move the pump around. So I would say this is all to tell you like this, it's a big deal. And, tell the guys they did an awesome job because it's hard work. It's like one of those moments where the utility department really has like grinds to the metal. It's like a big deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, they got it done.
Weren't they having trouble shutting off the water too?
Well, it was,
They ended
so
up setting off the
Parkview
fire alarms.
Manor's
Yeah.
sprinkler system was going off when they turned it down too low because while they don't want to turn the water all the way off to lose pressure, they want to slow the water down because they have to pump it out of the hole. And when they were doing that, Parkview Manor was going off. And so they let it run, but they actually like bled off of the hydrant to reduce the amount that was going into the hole. It was,
It's a
it
lot.
was impressive.
It is impressive, all they're
yeah.
doing, all the knowledge that they have.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those moments like really puts them to task. It's
Yeah.
like snow plowing, right? Like
Them guys work very hard at that. I've seen it many times over and they do it's not easy.
No, well,
Get well in that water, freezing cold. No, well, I'm glad they're doing it, not me. 'Cause they work hard at it. They do.
we're very lucky that we have the crew we've got.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a side, but since I
No,
have time, I felt like I'd give you all that
Well, they need to
information.
hear this stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. In terms of utility stuff, Cheryl and the front office got all the letters out for the service line inventory notice. And so you may have people talking to you. I got a letter about, and usually I got a letter about lead in my water, which is usually what people pull out of it. So we're taking phone calls. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the office a lot today, but I'll be really working hard on calling people tomorrow. But I would say if people talk to you, if they have questions, encourage them to call because we can certainly walk through it. Also encourage them to like take a second glance at the letter because the letter has a ton of stuff in it. And so I can imagine like the first time you read it, that would be really overwhelming, right? Like, whoa, and it's telling you to, all these things that you should do about lead in water. Yeah, I think at least we had less than we did the previous time, and we just keep reducing the number that we go through. So that's good. And that is a requirement by the DNR. We have to do that every year. We go through, we report all our numbers, and then we are required to send that out, which reminds me, I need to do that certification that it went out.
Oh, yeah. that's right. That's right.
Don't forget.
Put it on
Yeah,
the
thank you.
checklist to do.
Right. Switching to streets. So, all the crews have been working really hard, right? The street department has had huge snows. It's like not been small snows. They've all been big snows and they've been working hard getting all that stuff done. So kudos to them and all the long, long days they've put in. And then just knowing like the snow falls, they're out there. They usually try to get out in the middle of the night so they don't have people to run into, like not run into, but like just the traffic load goes down. But like even after all that, when they clear everything, do all the approaches and putting sand down, like they're not done. They come back the next night. It's like a whole nother thing where they're hauling everything out. And so often, people are like, why aren't they going back out and clearing things out right away? Well, it's because they're hauling snow to the downtown so people can even get out of their cars in the downtown. Because if you think about how wide Main Street is, that's a lot of surface, and we're pushing all of that onto the side of the road. So Main Street and then the downtown. Let's see, working on, they said they were working with the cul-de-sacs, opening up the catch basins, like I said, cleaning approaches. They were rebuilding chains and changing their cutting edges on their blades. Doing maintenance equipment. We got our first load of salt in our new salt shed. And Tyrell is working on getting that registered with the state because we realize we probably need to tell them we're at a different address now, even though it's the same address, different building. And they started working on their tree removals. For me, I guess I have one good news. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say. We got our highway aid numbers back and they were positive. So, if you remember, we ended up getting a pretty significant cut in our highway aid, state aid this year. It was two reasons. One was unbeknownst to us, when we had 3 lanes, they ended up reducing the state aid for our connecting highway amount. That unfortunately didn't change. Hopefully we'll see a change about that in the future. But what did change was our highway aid amount. So it's based on our contribution to amount of work we put into streets. And so a lot of the street costs we've been using TID funding for. Some of it was just where we put our money in terms of healthcare. And so we were able to correct it with the auditors. And then we ended up getting another $19,000 than we expected. So we almost kind of came back to where we were originally. So that made me happy because I was really stressed out about the fact that it changed so significantly. And unfortunately, now that we have 23 monitoring wells, I have literally spent the last 2 days checking my emails and trying to keep things at bay and going out there. It's taking me a lot longer, but I only have to do it once a week now. So that's good. And that's all I have. If you have any questions.
I thought another good comment was that I asked if the apartment building, the new apartment building, was complaining people about the noise from the trucks backing up the in the middle of the night or
Haven't heard
whatever.
anything, have you? Yeah, I haven't either.
And they haven't heard anything, so I thought that's good. And now the salt, they're going to be farther down even where they are now, so
Yeah.
that should help too. So thought that was good. news.
Yeah, that was one of those, for the Main Street apartments, just the fact that our salt sheds are so close to where the building is. But yeah, I think people, it wasn't that it wasn't that they built, we built or after them. What am I trying to say? So
Right.
it's not like they were already there, that all of a sudden our operation started. They kind of went in knowing where they were at.
Yeah, but still, I thought people would be complaining about that beep, beep, beep.
It's always hard to tell.
Yeah,
That's what
right.
I've learned.
But
You can
amazingly,
make
those,
assumptions, but you
those,
never know.
that building has got pretty good soundproofing. I
Oh.
mean, when we were in there, you can't really hear road noise and things like that. So
great.
hopefully that's helps too.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions, comments for Sarah or Cheryl? Thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl was the one that sent all the letters out, or was it the other Sarah?
I just verified the addresses, did one more double check since I deal with the addresses all the time. Beth is the one that actually got
Yeah.
them out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, second period for public comment. Any comment? Okay, anybody online want to make a comment? Doesn't sound like it. Okay, adjournment.
Good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
AJ, I'll second.
Motion by Todd, second by AJ to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I think I heard Seth, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Aye. Aye.
Adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Aye.
Bye.